JD, what is going on, man? It has been way too long, as we like to say. We had to hop on a call here and record it and maybe call it a podcast here because we have a special day coming up on 8/24. The two numbers that represent, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player of all time, Kobe Bryant. Rest in greatness, my man. Let's start it off. Where were you the moment when you heard the news on January 30th, 2020, the biggest devastating news you could receive right before COVID hit? Where were you? What happened? How'd you take it?
Most definitely. It's good to be on here again, Chris, and in honor of 824. I thought it was just something that we should do for the culture and talk about one of the guys that we actually grew up watching from start to finish and just seeing the blossom of his career. I happened to be at church that Sunday and went over to my pastor, and my pastor said to me, Kobe Bryant just died.
Your pastor told you.
Yeah, my
Wow.
pastor told me.
I didn't know that, man. That's some divine intervention. Wow. How did he?
Exactly.
Why was he checking his phone during church and you weren't?
I don't know, but church just finished, and I walked over to him to say something after service. And so after service, we went to the mall and got a Jamba Juice, and all you could do was keep scrolling on to TMZ to find out new information. And as I was at Jamba Juice, the news came out that his daughter Gianna was on the plane as well, and I just threw my food away that I had just ordered from Jamba Juice because my stomach could not take the fact
You can't
that I
take
just
it,
lost
man.
one of my favorite players and his daughter was with him.
Yeah, man. I was, it was Sunday. I'll admit I was not at church at the time or at all that day. Sorry, Mom. But, my job, my career right now is in social media. And at the time, we were looking at anything that was trending in the news, anything from, a new technology to a celebrity death. And at this, point in time, it was a celebrity death that came through. So the person that actually flagged it for our whole team at work, as just like a moment in the news, was that Kobe died. Was this girl I work with named Melissa, and I was like, yeah, you're lying, yeah, whatever. TMZ, come on, bro. Like, Kobe ain't gonna. Kobe can't die, So, I didn't believe it. Hopped on the phone, saw some mixed messages on Twitter. Didn't believe it until about an hour later when it was legitimate, confirmed, and also hearing that his daughter and some other folks that were on his daughter's team and another adult male were on that helicopter. And it took a while to sink in. It probably took a good week, maybe a good month, to be like, Kobe is not alive anymore. Like, we had adjusted to him retiring, right? So he was no longer playing, but the fact that he was no longer walking on this earth was I don't think anyone was prepared for that. No one's going to be prepared for that when that happens to Michael Jordan. But Kobe was, he was Michael's junior. So it was tough to take, man. It was real tough to take. But switching gears, fast forward, 3.5 years, it sounds like they're going to start bringing back some of Kobe's apparel at Nike. Starting with on Mamba Day here I think they're actually releasing them on 8/23, but for 8/24, they're bringing back a colorway of the Kobe 8s and some new merch. And I'm curious, JD, as a Kobe enthusiast, as a Laker lifelong diehard fan, what's your thoughts on their re-release of an 8? I thought we were going to get a new shoe, to be honest.
Yeah, I was hoping we get a new shoe, something different. Maybe they're saving that for a birthday, for his birthday, or something like that. I particularly am not a fan of the all white silhouette this time because the Lakers colors aren't white.
But
the
white goes with
purple and
everything,
gold.
and Nike wants to make those
Yes,
sales. So
but re-releasing something. I was really hoping that they came out with some type of bang because of the controversy that Vanessa and the Nike was having with the Kobe estate and Nike, how they ended their partnership. They didn't give them the lifelong deal like they gave LeBron and Kevin Durant and so forth. And so I was really hoping that they'd hit this out the park. Right now, I feel like they kind of just singled. This is not a home run. This is not for the culture. It
it's not as big
doesn't
as it
do
could be.
me.
It's not as big as it could
Yeah,
or should be.
exactly.
Now, JD, I'm curious. Did the Lakers do it right? Now they announced that they're coming out. They're unveiling not only the Kobe statue, but the Kobe and Gianna statue next year on 8/8/24. Now that's hitting the mark. That's using the numbers to recognize him, but it's actually launching something that people want, not a re-release of some shoe that already exists in some colorway that nobody wants.
I hope we can drop a cover or a picture of the that they put out through the AP. I
We're
think
already
it's a
looking at
really
it. We're
great
looking
way.
at it right now.
And if you look at it, it's great because Kobe's. I think he's wearing the high tops right there,
Mm,
and his daughter, number two, Gigi. I think she would have been a great ball player. And I think it's great that they are giving Kobe something better than his flowers. I don't know what that is, but they're honoring his daughter when they don't have to.
they don't have to, and you know what? That's not their first. So that's not the NBA or the Lakers' first time doing that. You remember the All Star game a month after he passed? They all wore 24 or 2 because 2 was Gianna's number. So I think the NBA and the Lakers, individual as a team, are honoring him and his legacy in the right way. Where Nike seems like they're just trying to make a buck. And I say that wearing Nike head to toe every day, but at the end of the day, I guess it's a business, and maybe they couldn't get production done in time, or maybe there's something else they're going to drop as a surprise. Who knows? But as it stands now, there's much to be desired. Uh, Now, also that came out this week, in the past week or so, is that University of Kentucky is going to be the first university to be outfitted in Kobe brand gear. Now, we already have the Jumpman schools, we already have the Nike schools, Adidas, Under Armour, all that, but this is going to be the first Kobe team. What are your thoughts there? That kind of threw me off. I thought it would be Duke.
Yeah, it's a blue color, just a different shade.
Okay.
I think that with Coach K gone, you know, it's not the same feeling. And with Calipari and all the success of the players that he has had come through there, I think which leads this, along with like guys like Devin Booker, who was a Kobe, fan, and I think that he maybe had a part of this, talking
Okay.
with them.
What
I'm guessing,
players? Some of the alumni.
you know, like, hey, what's up with this? But I think it's pretty cool. Nothing's going to beat our St. John's, what I'm saying, Michael Jordan days, what I mean, as far as
Ron
apparel,
Artest.
eh, Eric Barkley,
Yes,
Omar
sir. Mike
Cook,
Jarvis.
that St. John's Jordan brand collab, Cincinnati, those
That
schools
ain't
hit
coming back. No.
different.
Kmart is not walking through that door.
That gear hit different,
Yeah, because but
but I
hey,
think that's pretty cool.
okay, so we're talking about new apparel coming out. Now, ever since he's passed, all of the Kobe stuff that exists has skyrocketed in price. We can look at your shirt, we can look at that jersey, we can look at those shoes, we can look at Kaya's baby shoes, we can look at the Wheaties, all of that, right? Myself, I don't have the biggest collection behind me. I don't have all this stuff out of storage right now, but I try to pull a little something together for the show. But I'm asking you, JD, as a person that has a tie to history and a sentimental side as well, and a sports fan and a sports collector, Kobe gear, buy or sell, all up.
I buy, I buy, I
Okay, speak
buy.
on it.
The rattlesnake, the mamba, the snake, the skin that's that. How about this, Chris? I
Hmm.
still have a pair of Kobe shorts you gave me in 2013.
I don't even
Still
remember
got them.
that. See, it went to
Still
better.
got them.
Hey, I put them in better hands than mine. Hey,
And I've always thought Kobe's gear, especially, man, when they match the shoes and the snake, skin on the coat. My son had the jacket and it, looked like it touched like the snake skin, and why am I drawing a blank on what Kobe's that is? But it's man, I've always liked it. His shorts. I mean, I got these shirts, but I always thought Kobe. How about this, real quick?
hmm.
Start bench cut logos,
Oh, you got
apparel.
three of them?
Yes,
Who?
Kobe, Penny,
Oh,
Jordan.
don't give me Jordan, bro. I'm starting Jordan. I'm starting.
Really, as a logo. One day, how about this? One day you would get tattooed on you.
See, you can't put me in that box because I'm a unique like I would get the Jordan one if no one else had it, but so many fucking scrubs out there have the Jordan logo tattooed on themselves, I wouldn't do it. So if it didn't exist, if no one had ever done it, I would say Jordan as my starter. And I would put Penny on my bench. I would cut Kobe, dog. Hey, I'm sorry it's the Kobe episode, but you put Penny in there. I thought you were going to put LeBron. That'd be an easy out. But man, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, because that Penny logo, that
It
classic
was so
C,
sick. So sick.
like man, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, start bench cut on these logos. Because to me, I like the visual look of the Kobe logo, and if you could wrap a snake around it, you know what I mean.
Yeah. No,
Woo!
I'm
So
with
I'm
you.
starting. I'm
Yeah, what you got?
starting the Kobe logo. I'm benching the Jordan logo,
Penny
and I
going
gotta
out.
cut Penny
That's a tough one,
because
man.
you can't. If you come about a tattoo, that's why I said start bench cut a tattoo because that Kobe, man, you can make that thing look nice.
Well, and the
That
thing
Jordan
is
logo is
too,
you
yeah, and
can't do nothing with it.
the Kobe logo is abstract, right? Like not everybody
Hmm.
knows about it. The Jordan logo, the Jumpman, everyone grandmas on the street would be like, "Oh, that's I've seen the Michael Jordan logo." You know what I'm saying? Like it transcends.
It's bigger than basketball,
It's
Chris.
bigger than basketball. And Kobe's, I guarantee you find some folks that are hoop heads that couldn't point it out of the crowd. So, um, yeah, the tattoo thing throws me. But my question now, coming out of before you had a logo, before you even signed with Nike, our boy Kobe Bean got drafted by the Charlotte Hornets in 1996, and he wasn't the only motherfucker that came out of that draft to do some noise. As a matter of fact, he wasn't the first one either. It took him a while to get there, and if you look at the very start of the draft class, we got the answer right there, man. And he came out swinging. So at first, Kobe being picked 13th, getting traded for Vladi, like it didn't really it didn't raise a lot of eyebrows. You know, Jermaine O'Neal went in that draft too. There's two players picked out of high school. What was that, the year after KG? So this was a thing everybody was dipping their toes in, and Kobe had a unique background, so he didn't really stick out in that draft, is what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
And you also had then, and it also took a long time for him to develop, but you had a two-time MVP come out of that same draft in Steve Nash. So if we're talking the 96 draft class, you have of three players who are in the top five of their position all time.
Ray Allen.
Ray, well, I'm not putting him in there, but those other three, I'll put Ray
What?
Allen. Ray Allen's not top five of shooting guard of all time. Kobe is,
He's top
AI
five
is,
shooter. Shooter.
well, shooter, but not in his
Okay.
position, not all around. We could
That
say
so
Kobe.
Chris,
Kobe.
can we show
We could,
the people a picture of that draft class, that slam cover that AI is not in?
yeah, because wasn't who else was in that?
Marcus Camby, Jermaine O'Neal.
Jo. Yep.
Antoine Walker, Kerry
Yeah. That
Kittle.
slam spread.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to show the people
We're
that
looking
picture.
at it. We're
So from
looking at it right now.
That 96 draft class, Chris, here's a start bench cut. Start Kobe or start bench cut. Kobe, AI, Steve Nash.
At what time?
Who you picking on your
Well,
team?
I'm not picking them in the prime of their career. Or I'm picking them on draft night.
We're always picking prime. We ain't never picking when they are scrum.
Okay, so we're gonna go prime. I'm gonna go Kobe start. I'm gonna go AI off the bench, and Steve Nash can kick rocks. Let's be real. We're talking hoops. What you got?
I'm saying. I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you one. Let me give you one. Steve
That's
Nash.
96 class.
Yep. Steve Nash. Ray Allen. I was gonna say Kerry Kittle. There's another. You can't really do
Stephon
it.
Marbury.
Oh, Marbury wasn't that class, was he?
Yeah.
96. Oh, let me do a little lookup
Yeah.
real quick. Let me do a little real
Yes,
time
he
lookup real
dog.
quick
Yes. Him and Ray Allen got traded for each other.
on draft night.
Yeah.
We can see who does their research. Okay. Yep. Okay. 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 All right.
That's
Here's your
not
start bench
research.
cut.
That's just know-how. That's my
Hey,
know-how.
that's your know-how, bro. You got me. All right. Start bench cut. Marcus Camby, Jermaine O'Neal, Sharif Abdul-Rahim in their primes.
I'm
Sharif had a
starting
short career.
Jermaine. I'm starting Jermaine. I'm benching Marcus Camby, and I'm cutting Sharif.
You got that messed up, dog.
Nah.
In their
No way.
primes, Marcus Camby
Jermaine
wasn't.
O'Neal was all NBA.
But Marcus
First
Camby's not
team.
getting you a bucket. He'll defend the rim.
Defensive player of the year.
He'll defend the rim, but he's not getting you a
Okay.
bucket.
Well, guess what? Defense wins championships, Chris.
Hey, but you said just singularly.
Sharif was a bucket getter, but he didn't do shit else.
No, he was nice. I put Sharif on my bench. I put Jermaine as my
Nope.
starter, and I get Marcus out of here. I'm sorry, man. You had a good run, but you're a dime a dozen shot blocker, no offensive player. All right, well, let's get off the 96 draft class because I really want to get back to Kobe because that's what this is about. And Kobe is not as known as Mike for his shoes, obviously. But if you know, you know. And
Yeah.
if you've ever played in them, you know. And everybody's got a favorite pair to play in. Everyone's got a favorite pair to go out in. I want to know your top 3 Kobe shoes overall. You don't have to go colorway, but just models. Like, what are your favorite Kobe models?
I like the Kobe fives. I got them right here behind me.
Okay, what's
I
that?
think they're just iconic to me, especially in that colorway when he won the championship with those. They're comfortable.
Okay.
Kobe was innovative, and he was one of the first newer athletes to make a low top.
Yep.
And this is going to be my style. So Kobe fives.
Okay.
My second one is the Kobe ones, which are just one of
The
the I
Adidas?
have no Nike. The
Okay.
ones he wore when he scored 81.
81. Yeah, the Zooms.
Yeah, but they're called the Kobe ones, and so I have the year before model, which they basically just took this shoe and made it have a different heel.
Mm-hmm.
I think those shoes were great to hoop in. And last but not least, my top 3 is the Kobe ADs. These right here are the first shoe that came out after he had retired, and they're actually, in my mind now, kind of the standard mold in what most of the low top players' shoes kind of look like as far as silhouette. The
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina Ionescu's kind of look like it. The Paul Georges, the heel, the wide midfoot, the midsole having the bar go across it, across the foot. So Kobe was starting something new and innovative with Nike as far as his apparel line and shoe line, because he was wanting something that was more agile, like a snake, be able to quick and move, but
Mm-hmm.
still have bite.
Mm-hmm.
you want your foot to bite on the ground and not fold like Zion did, you
Hey,
know.
I
So those are
got
my
you.
top three. And I think that Kobe and Nike kind of hit it on the mark at one point when they were coming out with the regular shoe and then they switched it to the elite. And
Hmm.
you'd have the low tops and then you come out with the high tops
Or the
and
ADs
Nike.
also, and they had the ADs that came out in the spring that were a little more affordables.
Yeah. So
All
those
right,
those are my top three.
okay, I'm with you on one of them. I mean, I'm with you on all of them. But if I had to, gun to my head, I had three models to pick. Number one, the Crazy Eights. They weren't even Kobe's, but the Crazy Eights. He wore them when he broke into the league. All black Adidas with the three white stripes, a couple of white accents around the midsole and on the rubber. And there's so many iconic photos of teenager Kobe wearing those that um, that'll always stick with me. And it's it's unique to Kobe because you look at LeBron, you look at MJ, you look at Dame, you look at anybody that comes into the league and signs a shoe deal, they're with them for their whole career. Now, Kobe having some 4 years, 3 years with Adidas before he became Mamba, right? That's unique, and it's just another reason to appreciate Kobe because he could switch and do it both ways. So, but it's always checks over stripes. So my second shoe here is like you said, the Kobe 5, and the reason why I had Kobe 5 is partially because of what you said. It was the first time for a premier athlete to have a signature shoe be a low top in the sport of basketball. But if you look at it, the Kobe 5 through the Kobe 10 did not change much. He stayed with that low top, low to the ground, be agile like a mamba snake, be able to bite like you can, and he didn't waver from that much. If you look at the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, from a distance to the naked eye, they're very similar. And oftentimes you might have to Google, is this the 5 or the 6? Is this the 6 or the 8? Because they all kind of have that similar look and feel. And I will always remember the first time playing in those too. And I was like, low top, I don't know. Those 5s had that snake skin, and it was like, I've never felt more athletic in my life than the time that I wore those for a hoops tournament in the summertime. I don't know how old I was, 20 something. And, just, feeling like Kobe for a little minute wearing his shoes. And then the other one I have on there is the year after he tore his Achilles. I think they were having some fun with it, and you mentioned it earlier, but they came out with those high tops, those super duper boxer ringside high tops, as kind of a nod to the
The Kobe
Achilles.
9.
Yep, the kind of a nod to the Achilles tear, and I actually got gifted a pair of those Kobe 9 Sequoias, and I had an ankle injury at the time, which usually it's my knees or my back, but my ankle was messed up at the time, and I was hooping in them, and they legitimately were like ankle braces connected to a shoe, and you didn't feel the ankle pain, or you had more movement. You had movement without the pain, and it was different. It was different, and that's what I loved about Kobe was switching from Adidas to Nike. Switching from 8 to 24, switching from lows to super duper highs. Like he was just different, and that's why that's on my top three list. Now,
Solid list. Like I said, the Kobe 9s, the heel was a little too wide for me.
hey, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, you
But
know
that's why I
what's
like the Kobe 10s a little bit more because they narrow dynamic. They made it a little bit more smoother lines, and the Kobe 10, the Kobe 11s are probably worn a lot. A lot of players wear the 11 low tops still to this day.
because
Those Bruce Lee color.
you're building on something. Once you determine like the low top is where we're at each year, you're tweaking something and making it like a little bit better, a little bit better. So the latest model is going to be the best one, and I think that's why a lot of us are disappointed that there's not a Kobe 12 getting dropped, today. And maybe that'll come, maybe it won't. After MJ stopped playing, all of his signature shoes started to look real whack, real whack, and it was all about the briefcase that came in and not the fucking look and feel or the performance. So
I think there's only like 2 or 3 Jordans in my mind after he retired that were any good.
zero to me,
Um,
zero dog, zero zero zero. Even after
uh,
he left Chicago, zero done. Like
the
once they started putting the
17s are
strap
pretty
over
classic though.
they put the big
Come
thing over.
on, the 17s.
We'll do a MJ show when it's MJ Day, but we'll stick on the Kobe for now. Hey, I want to. Speaking of MJ and Kobe, JD, who's the better in-game dunker, Michael, Kobe, or this kid LeBron everyone's talking about these days?
Well, ta-da, LeBron James.
Get out
LeBron
of here!
James.
What?
Um,
That's boring.
you know,
Speak
let
on
me
it.
tell you something, man.
Sell me on it.
Okay, well, this man is how old?
Us old.
Okay, and he's still doing it.
Yeah, but
just,
look, don't. That's what's going to make him the best. That's what's going to make him the best in-game dunker because he can still dunk at age 38. Nah, man,
so
bring me something else.
I don't want to get in. I don't want to be too long-winded, but
bring me something else.
I just believe that the dunks that man has done, in my mind, he's a better in-game dunker.
So you like power,
so Jordan,
and size. So you must think that Shaq and Dwight Howard are the best dunkers of all time.
Hey man, buckets. They bucket getters.
Stop.
Okay.
You don't care about finesse, athleticism, charisma in the air, hang time. You don't care about none of that. You just
LeBron's hey man, there's some dead bodies underneath LeBron.
Well, yeah, because he's the biggest. He's a locomotive out there. I'm talking about some
Chris,
Teslas.
The best dunk, my favorite dunk of LeBron didn't even count. He's coming down the lane and he gets this alley-oop from Delonte West and he puts it at his feet, double clutch, reverse, and it doesn't even count, and it's so nasty. So that's my pick, bro.
Okay, I'll give you your pick.
I'm picking, I'll
give you your pick.
I'm King James.
Your best in-game dunker.
We didn't say dunk contest.
No, we said in-game.
Somebody who's dunking on your ass.
Okay, so best.
What about that Nurkic dunk he did on?
He's bigger.
That shit was.
So your best dunk of your best in-game dunker happened when it wasn't in a game. So I don't even know what you're talking about. You're saying it didn't count, and it was after the whistle, and it didn't. So we're talking in-game.
They blew the whistle right as this play happened.
Exactly.
We gotta put this on for the people, man.
I mean, if
and then the other dunk is the new. Is his Kobe tribute. He freaked that even better than Kobe, cuz. Yes. And I got the sports card. I got a Panini LeBron Prism Silver, and it's LeBron doing that dunk. That picture, Chris, we're going to show the people this picture because to me, this picture is the new Mona Lisa of the NBA.
Get the fuck.
There's so many great things because it's LeBron tributing to Kobe. You see all the championship banners, all 17 of them, Chris. All right, we don't even put up division or conference championships, okay? All we know is win, 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 okay? Like DJ Khaled says, another one.
Okay? Are you done? Are you done?
I am.
Okay, because clearly you just like size, strength, power. You like overpowered players dunking on weaker players. But that's fair. You like the Goliaths. I like the Davids. You know what I'm saying? I like the younger kids, the smaller dudes dunking on the bigger dudes. That's what it does for me. I wouldn't even put LeBron in my top 5 in-game dunkers. I would put Josh Smith above him.
Guess what?
I would put J.R. Smith above him. Shit.
Gerald Green.
Hey, Gerald. Exactly. You proved my point. Gerald Green's a better in-game dunker than LeBron. Okay, so I'm going to put – obviously I'll put –
You asked me a question. I gave you an answer, okay?
And I'm dragging you for it, okay?
No, you can't. No.
All right, so my top 3, if you're looking at Mike, LeBron, and Kobe in-game dunks, LeBron is just overpowered. Mike was, I'll obviously he was a great in-game dunker, but I feel like he didn't dunk with the same chip on his shoulder as Kobe. I feel like all of Kobe's signature iconic in-game dunks were a big fuck you to everybody else that doubted him. And I'll speak on this a little bit more later about why I was such a big Kobe fan, but he dunked with something to prove. Where Mike dunked because it was fun, and LeBron dunked because he was bigger than everyone. So I would give it to Kobe. If YouTube doesn't claim copyright, we'll show some Kobe dunks versus some LeBron dunks and some Mike dunks side by side. But I got to give it to Kobe, man, and that's not just because it's Kobe Day and this is our Kobe podcast, but I'll die on that hill. That's one of those things. That's one of those takes that I will always have and I will stick with, and I'll die on that hill. And that brings me to a story about this bobblehead that we see. Gitano's got this glorious background of all the different memorabilia, but I got two things here with me. One is the coffee table book, Mamba Mentality, and the other one is this bobblehead that I don't even know where I got it. I think I probably ordered it on eBay because it's not it's bigger than the normal bobblehead. It's not a Funko Pop or anything like that, but I got it probably 20 years ago, and no, maybe more like 15. And when I worked for the Blazers, I snuck it in. Everyone at their desk. It's very the Blazers office is very on theme, on brand with basketball. So instead of a nameplate in front of your office or your cubicle, you have a jersey with your name on it, and instead of a basketball number, it's the year you started with the company. Everybody has the bobbleheads from Bobblehead Nights, and everyone from Steve Blake and Travis Outlaw to Greg Oden and Dame and everyone in between. So I mixed in this Kobe bobblehead. Probably my second year with the company. Worked there for 10 years, and at the time there was this woman who very fond of, big fan of hers, named Michelle Butler. And Michelle was cool. She worked game nights, and the game night crew was a different breed. They were fun. They were lively. They had lives outside of the Blazers. They just came in every game night, worked the stat table or something to do with PR on game nights. And Michelle was the homie. She actually named her son Rashid. So that tells you she was very much a Portlander, very much a part of the culture at the time. There's probably 15 to 20 kids running around the Portland area named Rashid that are about, 15 years old by now. But Michelle worked for the team for a little bit in the community relations department, and she was always fucking with me, and I was fucking with her. We were cool, But one day my bobblehead was missing, my Kobe bobblehead, and it was this running joke. Everybody knew except for me, and so for weeks, months, even years, it was, where's your Kobe bobblehead, Chris? And Michelle had stopped working for the team at a while. Yeah, oh yeah. Michelle started it.
You never got it back.
She hid it somewhere, and then she stopped working there full time, still working game nights. And then so other people were in on it. So this bobblehead right here was in someone's cubicle drawer for at least 5 years. And eventually someone had the heart to give it back to me or whatever. But that's my that's kind of
5 years.
It was, it was there at my desk for less than a week, and it started out as like kind of a hazing, like, oh, you can't let. But that's how much there is of this little brother syndrome with the Blazers and the Lakers. The Lakers would not do that to someone that had a Dame Dollar bobblehead, but it's this inferiority like complex that we all have. I mean, not you because you're a Laker fan, but any Blazer fan has towards the Lakers, and then it's amplified when you're inside the office. And so it was a dumb move to bring that bobblehead in and put it there. But I don't know if the punishment fit the crime because I didn't have that joint for, 5, 8, 10 years. Got it back, but here he is still standing, Kobe 8. It's an old bobblehead if it's Kobe 8. But anyway, as we transition and we talk about Mamba Mentality, this book we have here, I think if you know, you know, but if you don't know, you really don't know what Mamba Mentality is. What is that to you, JD?
Mamba mentality is only made for him.
Mm.
If you ask
Go
me,
on.
because Kobe had to put himself in some dark places.
Mm-hmm.
He had to do some things that we might deem petty. We might say selfish. We might say asshole.
Hey.
Uh, you know, Kobe had to put himself and wear all those hats, so to speak. We praise Michael Jordan for bitch slapping teammates, you know,
But Kobe
but
does it, and he's the villain.
we dog Kobe out because he was trying to hold Shaq accountable
Mm-hmm.
on coming to training camp,
Calling him
you
fat.
know. So Kobe was on to something, but Mamba mentality is for one man. That's
Okay.
him. I
You
don't
know,
I don't ever say Mamba mentality for me because I'm not trying to be selfish.
hey.
You know, I'm not
Well,
trying to take all the money from my team and make us sorry as hell like Dame Lillard, right?
hey, that's another topic for another podcast, my guy. But
So Mamba mentality is something that I really don't think should be used by other people. It is
okay.
for him. It I think it's a verb. I don't think he might even like it if everybody's always saying Mamba mentality
Yeah, it takes
because
away from the
it's a
impact.
commitment level.
Exactly.
That's what it really means to me. At the end of the day, Mamba mentality is about commitment.
It's about commitment. It's about dedication. It's about consistency. It's about overcoming odds. This is a big reason why I'm such a big Kobe fan is because when Mike came up, he was there. The NBA was dying, right? Like we've all seen the Air movie. We've all like it refreshed us on where the state of the NBA before Michael Jordan got there. He he was playing with nothing to lose. He was showing out and
Tongue out.
giving the league exposure at a time when it was still trying to stay relevant. Right now, Kobe gets there and he's trying to model his game after the greatest player of all time at that time, and he's scrutinized for it. As he should be, because it's a different era, it's a different culture, it's a different time of life. But what drew me to him was everybody hating him, everybody quote unquote hating him. He had more haters in his first 5 years than Michael did in his entire career. People just love to hate him because of the Mamba mentality. And I think it just became a self-fulfilling prophecy where the more people hated him, the more he was driven. And I've read books on this dude. We've all watched the documentaries on him. He grew up isolated and stayed isolated and wanted to become the best at his craft. And literally, it did not hit him if people did not like him. And there's something about that where you just have this obsession and these blinders. It's so daring because you throw away the rest of your life for one thing. And I think I respected that in him. And then you have the thing that happens in Colorado, and it triples everything. He's so much more polarizing. You're either with him or you're not. And that's about the
And
time.
that's
That's about
and
the time
that
I had that
season,
bobblehead. Was about that when all that well, you're split. It was like, yeah, we hate him because he's a killer, but we also hate him because he's a philanderer. He's a cheater. Like come on, dog. It's pro athletes.
that 03-04 season was something to be marvel of, going through a trial, flying
Mm-hmm.
back and forth, flying the games, and he said it that the games were his refuge,
Yep.
and he always says you have to find peace in the process,
He
you
was the
know.
original. He was the original. It's the journey, not the destination guy. And
You got
there's
to trust the process. You got to find joy in that.
And what I
How
really,
hard it is.
you talk about that season when he was also going to court every month or so. I heard an interview with him. There's some really good Instagram accounts that are just dedicated to Mamba mentality or Kobe forever or whatever it is, and it's probably some kids running it, but hey, they got good clips. And he had said, they had asked about sleep and stuff like that, and Kobe's known for not sleeping a lot because he just wants to work. And it's crazy to think about all of the stuff on this guy's shoulders with family, with haters, with expectations with basketball and contracts and stuff like that, that he still shows up and performs at a level that he does. So in this interview, they said, what's the least amount of sleep that you've gotten before a game? And he's like, oh, none. Like, it's happened several times where he just did not sleep the night before a game because of all the things he was dealing with or whatever. And he says, but the thing is, for the people in the stands that paid hundreds of dollars to come see him play, they don't give a fuck if he got sleep or not. They paid to see him put on a show, and so he has to do that. And so to your point about the refuge, I really think it was like nothing else in life matters as much as what happens on that court every night. And he could just pour himself into that. And there's no one like that, man. There's no one else. Maybe MJ was like that, right? But like before, after, during, I don't think there's anyone else that could put everything else in their life to the side only to do this one thing as the best you can and know that you're the best.
Well, Mama mentality, Chris, it's become a phenomenon.
And people use it out of
every trainer uses it.
They use it out of turn too. They use it in the wrong way because they think it's just dedicate yourself. No, it's throw away everything else and put all of your eggs in this basket and screw everything else.
Yeah, that's why I don't use it, Chris.
Because it's not realistic. It's like Steve Jobsian. Steve Jobs, they said he lived in this dystopian reality where he expected things that were physically not possible. There's very few. Kobe, Steve Jobs, Jordan probably. Who else has the mental strength to do that or the mental disability? But you know what I'm saying? Like it's rare.
It's not easy, bro.
It's not easy.
Shut out, the life and focus on your task at hand because that's not the way we are wired, really.
No, there's so many, especially the more we get with technology and devices and things like that. There's so many things to spread you away from being really, really good at one thing. Now, before we get too sentimental, man, let's go back. I want to know your top 5 shooting guards of all time. Everything that we said, it's still MJ or Kobe is number 1, and then who else is on your list? What do we got? Top 5.
So this is the guys I'm picking up on my team who I want shooting the rock for me. So MJ is 1. Mm-hmm. That's a given. He's always going to hold the rock.
Okay.
Kobe is 2.
Okay.
Number 3 is T-Mac.
Hey, I thought he was a 3. I guess he's a 2.
Okay.
Hey, we'll give him a 2.
I always thought T-Mac was a shooting guard. Motherfucker shot the ball. He shot the rock. I ain't never heard a small forward shooting the rock. No, that's shooting guard. That's T-Mac, baby.
I got you.
Okay. AI.
Yep.
He shooting guard?
Yep.
Or point guard? Which one?
He's shooting the rock, right?
All right, shooting the rock. And then my other one, this is surprising. It's 1A, 1B. This is who I want shooting the rock on my team. This is Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Clyde Drexler.
He wanted to put 3 in there.
It's a 3-way tie, Chris. I can't decipher from the 3 because they each did something that I liked.
Okay.
And those are the shooting guards.
Yeah, okay.
Those are my shooting guard. Those are the guys I'm building my team with as shooting guards.
All right, my shooting guards go like this. Number 1, Kobe Bryant. Because he may not be as good as Mike, but he's going to will himself It may not be as pretty, it may not be clean, it may not be the first time, but he is going to make it happen. Kobe number 1, MJ number 2. I got AI number 3. That's why I was so quick to agree on him being a shooting guard. And then a dude that you failed to mention, who's been kind of controversial in the last few weeks about, who was better than who. Dwayne Wade, dog. I put Dwayne Wade there because in his prime.
Oh, you're saying you'd rather have Dwayne Wade than Clyde Drexler?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I witnessed this man.
That's trash.
I witnessed this in the peak Heat era with him and LeBron and Chris Bosh or whoever. Dwayne Wade was the best player on that team. And it just happened to be that LeBron came along at the same time. He could make everything. He had control over the game. He was hitting full court shots. He was dunking on dudes.
Next.
He was winning chips.
Dwayne Wade is. I don't like Dwayne Wade.
I don't like him either, but
he's the reason why LeBron left Miami, because he fell off. All right.
Because he fell off, yes, but up until that point, dude was top 5 shooting guard of all time.
Next.
Brandon Roy. I put him there on full bias. But my man.
Hold up. This is like you saying. This is like me saying my LeBron James in-game dunker. This is worse.
It may be worse, man, but I claim full bias. I claim full bias, and it's mostly because when he was healthy and when he was in his prime, he was controlling the game like Kobe. He was controlling the game like AI, like MJ. He didn't have the body of work, and it's biased because it was my job to watch him play every single year of his career, and so I watched every single game. And he had off nights for sure, but he had games where he was knocking dudes for 50 points.
B-Roy was
he was knocking dudes for 50 points. He was dropping 30 in the fourth quarter or 25 in the fourth quarter. Like he had that game he hit against Houston, that game winner, the half court shot, one of the ones that they always show. He played the worst game of his entire career up until the last 5 seconds. Got a steal, made a jumper. Okay, I got my rhythm. Get a stop on the other end. Okay, I'll go on the other end and I'll hit a 45-foot game winner. I saw him, not a defensive player, but when we needed it to be ahead of Denver in the playoff race, he was guarding AI the first half, guarding Carmelo the second half, blocking Carmelo's game-winning attempt with his left hand just because that's what the team needed. So this dude could morph into whatever the team needed. And like I said, full bias because I had to see him play every game. But he was the dude. There are very few guys that can switch from a clutch player to a defensive player to a team player to whatever you need him to be. A driver, a shooter, a scorer. I put B-Roy there, man.
All right. Well, I got one last thing. This is kind of or I got a couple more.
Yeah.
So this is start bench cut. This is start bench cut these guys out of high school. This is the best high school player from the 95, the 96, and the 97 draft class. That's KG, Kobe, T-Mac. Start bench cut KG, T-Mac, or Kobe.
In their primes.
Always. This is 33-point game, T-Mac.
No, I got to cut KG.
Wow.
And you know the rest. Who you cut?
Yeah.
T-Mac?
I'm cutting T-Mac. I'm starting KG.
Fuck. What?
Yeah.
You're saying prime KG is better than prime Kobe?
They played. KG was,
I'm asking you the question.
Was MVP that year.
So you're saying, but you said that year. That was not when they were both in their
prime. KG. But that's KG prime.
But that's not against prime Kobe.
Okay, so what year is Kobe's best year? Because the 03, 04
2004.
season,
2004.
that's KG's MVP season.
That's because the Wolves were supposed to be trash, and he gave them a good record.
Well, I'm just saying,
Okay,
KG,
okay, okay. You have
they
an
were the
argument.
number one seed. They were the number one seed. The Lakers had everybody. They had GP, Karl Malone. Okay, KG in Minnesota was number one, and KG was MVP. That's KG's best year. Big ticket, baby.
I mean, if you want to be a stat nerd like that, then go ahead and take it.
It's just a start bench cut. I didn't cut him. I just put him on the bench. You know what I mean? He's
Okay,
coming in like
okay.
Ginobili. All
Ginobili.
right. All
Okay, I
right,
got
so
it.
I got a top. So Kobe had a Robin or a Batman, whichever one you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
but they were a duo,
Mm-hmm.
Shaq Kobe, and they were one of the best of all time.
Uh-huh.
Give me your top three duos.
Kobe Shaq. Dwayne LeBron. And I'm gonna lull you to sleep with this old school reference.
I hope you don't take mine.
I might.
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson, Lou Alcindor.
See, you went with players you didn't even see.
Well, yeah, bro. I went off stats just like you're going off of. I'm trying to be on the same scale as you.
I'm going off of visuals. So
Oh, we're
number
oh.
one is Shaq Kobe. They are
Okay.
the best duo.
Okay.
And number two is Mike and Pippen. Come on, man. And number three that I like to watch, the Rain Man in the glove.
Okay, I'll give you that. You didn't.
Throw
We
that
didn't.
thing up there.
We didn't have a qualifier for wins or anything like that. You said that you like to watch. I'll give you that.
GP and Sean Kemp. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Those
I got a
those
question.
guys were something. Those guys were amazing.
I got a question for you though. Do you think that how many chips would Kobe have if Shaq was never a Laker or Powell was never a Laker? Would he
I
have
don't
any
think Kobe
chips?
would have. Well, again, so I would say he would definitely have at least two or three because I've always said this, and this is why the Blazers can't win a championship is that organizations win championships.
Okay.
So the Lakers have been winning championships. They would figure out the
So
next
they were
best thing.
winners. They were winners by nature, and so they would figure out how to win.
So I would say he'd have at least two.
Okay.
You know, so I would figure that if they didn't have that big man, they'd have something else.
Yeah, like
They're
they
not going to
turned
just
they
be
turned Kwame Brown into something, and put some pieces around him. I would say you'd have one, and I don't know what year that is. I don't know what teammates that's with, but I feel like if you can sneak through, if Denver can find their way to a championship, Kobe could find his way to a championship. And that's that's going off of the Mamba mentality. He would will himself to find a way to win. What else we
yeah.
got? What else we got?
We need our top plays, man. Our
Oh
top plays.
yeah.
Let's give the people what they want. They want that excitement. What
Okay.
excited you about Kobe, Chris?
Okay.
Give me something that excited you
The
about
first
the
time
Mamba.
the first time I really fell out of my bias and really had to respect the greatness. You might know better. I don't know if it was the Pacers finals or the Pistons finals, but Kobe was outperforming Shaq. And he was putting up numbers that were unbelievable. I think it was leading up to that finals. They played against the Kings, and he was showing out against them, and he kind of was. It was mounting. He would have a great series, and then the next series would be a little bit better. The next series would be a little bit better, and he was putting up these astronomical numbers. And all of a sudden, they flash something across the bottom of the screen that shows his stat line, and then it says 22 years old, 21 years old, 23. And you're like, you combine what he is doing on that stage with his how long he's been in the league or on the earth, and that's what was mind blowing. That's what separated him he started at such a young age of dominating the biggest stage that you had to watch him throughout the rest of his career. LeBron had the hype coming in. Kobe made you pay attention to him. He had to pull your attention in, whereas LeBron, you were pushed into his attention. You heard about the $100 million Nike deal before you ever laced up an NBA, sneaker. Kobe you heard about his 3 air balls in his rookie year in the playoffs before you heard about his greatness. So he had to make you watch him. LeBron, you were going to watch anyway.
Man, Kobe, to answer your question, he didn't have a good series against Indiana.
So it's probably the Pistons series, which I don't think
But the Pistons series, they lost.
Yeah, but it was the stat line and the age that I was like.
I would say the series, would definitely be the Philly series because he wanted to put on for his town, the New Jersey. His best finals was the one against Orlando. He averaged like 28 that series. But for me, as far as moments, games, so let's see. Well, my favorite Kobe moment is watching him win the championship against Boston because what that represented us finally beating Boston again after
Without
Boston
Shaq.
had beat. Yep. And we revenged the loss from 2 seasons prior. It was Game 7 at home, and it was just Titans, on Titan. And that's my favorite Kobe moment was being at home, frying up some chicken strips, and watching the Lakers win, that championship in 2010. The Lakers have won championships in every decade, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The only decade I think we haven't won a championship in is the 60s, but we would win championships in the 50s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. We win in chips, man. And Kobe was a winner. That dude was a winner, and he wanted that game. Shot really poorly that game against Boston, but he had 15 rebounds,
Mm-hmm.
So he going to put in his effort somewhere else. So, I always believed that the Lakers would have won a chip without the big man or whatever, and they would have figured it out though. To end that one question that was answered earlier, championship organizations, they figure out a way. Just like Miami will figure out a way to get Dame.
I don't know if they will.
Something's gonna have to break.
We'll see, though, man. Hey, but real quick, rapid fire, though. Some other Kobe memories, man. Kobe versus Portland. He hit the game tire, the 3-pointer to put him into overtime, and then the game winner in overtime. Both highly contested shots.
That was to win the division.
Made Portland hate him even more. And then the other one is him walking out with a torn Achilles and making both free throws. Like the symbolism of that symbolizes Mamba mentality.
Kobe had 65 against the Blazers.
Yeah. Or the game when he had 66 through 3 quarters against Dallas. Like things like that.
He had 62.
62. But still, 3 quarters. Let me just sit the fourth, Phil. I don't need to score 100.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I got my favorite Kobe dunk.
Yep.
Young Kobe. Crossover. UNLV.
Yes.
Takes off on the free throw line.
I got that on my number. That's my number 1 Kobe dunk too. Were you reading my notes?
That's my number 1 dunk, Chris. Number two dunk is he dunks on Steve Nash.
Okay.
And number 3 is the montage of the one against New York when he come baseline with the windmill and the one he did on KG in Minnesota. They're the same dunk, the same season. They're the same exact play, and he takes off from one side of the key underneath the rim, and he basically did like Mike, and he soared in the air. Them is my Kobe dunks.
Okay, I got my top one, like you just mentioned, was the one at UNLV. I don't know if it was preseason or just a different venue or whatever. Um, but that's number one as well. Like we didn't have to talk about it. My number two though is that dunk he had in Orlando again over
Dwight Howard.
Dwight
Yeah,
Howard, where he almost
that's
who did Vince
yeah.
Carter jump over in the
Um.
he almost did him like that.
Oh my God, why can't I think of that guy's name right now? He's a meme. He's a
Yeah,
verb.
yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm talking about is he did that in game on Dwight Howard and didn't really go over him, like just because his shorts were too baggy. And then my other Kobe dunk, sadly, it was over Arvydas Sabonis when he was wearing number 8 and had the crazy eights, and he just like because Sabas was 7'3", 350, whatever, didn't move, and Kobe jumps up and his body hits him, but his arm still keeps going towards the rim,
On
dunks
Arvidas.
on it, and hangs onto the rim, and
He did it like what Frederick Weiss.
light work, no react. Frederick Weiss, yeah, that's the dude, and he had the zooms on, or those springy, you know what I'm saying, the Nike,
Yeah, the
the
shocks.
shocks, yep. Um, but yeah, man, that's
All
we
right,
could
I
we
got
could
one
go,
for you. This is a good one
yeah,
right here.
hit
This
me,
is gonna all encompassing.
okay.
Start bench cut draft class 84, 96, 03.
I gotta cut 96, man. I gotta cut 96, and I gotta bench 03, and I gotta
So
start
who you starting?
84. Start 84. You got Stockton, Malone, MJ, Hakeem. That's your 5. That's your 4. Your 5. And then
Rick
really,
Carlisle.
I mean, he Hooper. He's a coach, but and then 03, I would even put. I would say Darko had a puncher's chance against that 96, draft class. But you got Melo, LeBron, Dwayne Wade. There's got to be some late round picks there too, like Michael Redd. No, he was
Kyle
02.
Korver.
Corver.
Chris Kaman.
Yeah, so you got bodies there. You got a strong class. But then we've already been through the 96 class through and through, and like head for head, yeah, you got AI, Nash, and Kobe. But then it's like, what other Hall of Famers do you have? You putting Stephon Marbury against, John Stockton?
Ray Allen. He's a Hall of Famer.
Is he?
Yes. Ray got busy. Don't talk bad on Jesus. You gonna talk bad about Jesus?
I might have to,
We're
man.
not gonna do that. We're not gonna talk bad about the best
What's your start bench
basketball
cut?
movie ever.
Well, yeah, that's a movie,
Oh,
though, dog. We're talking about hoop
okay.
careers.
Well.
Who's yours?
All right. Well, we start in '84. That's the year we was born, Chris. Come
Yeah,
on.
since
And
84.
I'm not benching the year I graduated high school. All right.
So you got the same as me!
So I can't do that, Chris.
84 and
But
03, man. Those are 2 years that we cannot turn our backs on. They were monumental.
we didn't really tap into the 81 point game. I say this: we last. What's your favorite memory of the 81 point game?
My favorite memory is how it's still being talked about and how Jalen Rose is a good sport about it. And they make little Easter egg jokes about it in, commercials and productions and things like that, where it's like, yeah, Kobe gave me 81, but it was Kobe. Like if T-Mac gave him 81, or like, Jamal Crawford gave him 81, it would be different. But it was like you always want to lose to the eventual champion, right? Because then you can say, oh, they beat.
Absolutely.
So in an individual respect, he got sunned by the GOAT. So it's like, okay, let me own that. and I think he does it great. What's your favorite memory from that night?
That it wasn't like there was no Twitter, so if you watched the game, you watched it, and you
Mm-hmm.
just went to Sports Center and was like, Kobe just put down 81 in January against
On a
Toronto on like a
casual
what is
night,
it, Tuesday, Wednesday night.
casual.
I remember your little setup you had of your memorabilia from that game,
That
man,
was a
and
big game, man. That was
revisionist
nice.
history. We could be living in a penthouse if you had kept that shit. You know what I mean?
I don't even know where it is, dog.
But like that is something to be, like you had the stub, the book.
I had it all,
But
dog.
all right,
Good.
so let's close this one out real quick and let's do this debate because these guys were on this team. This is comparing eras again, something that we like to do. We bring Jordan, we bring Kobe and LeBron into it because those are the three. Those are the three.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get to that, start bench cut. Kobe, Mike, LeBron.
I cut LeBron.
Wow. All-time leading scorer could not play for you.
That's a longevity stat. That's because he didn't
Hey.
get hurt. That's because he played so many years. Put
That's a
fucking T Mac. Have
longevity
T Mac play
stat.
for 20 years and he'd be the all time scorer. Look at Karl Malone. He's like number two,
Oh.
number whatever Karl
Kobe
Malone
played
is.
20 years.
Yeah,
LeBron
but
beat him.
he didn't beat him. He let him beat him. He didn't want to win.
All right. So who you starting?
Hey,
Kobe or Mike?
here's my answer. Here's the reason for my answer, and here's my answer. I'm gonna start Mike only because Kobe will come off the bench with a chip on his shoulder, like, "Hey, motherfucker, why didn't you start me?" And he'll play even better.
All right. Well, I'm starting LeBron.
Why? Because
Yeah.
you like to see out of position. You like to see tight ends playing basketball. You like to see middle linebackers playing basketball. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Defensive
I'm
ends.
starting LeBron. Mike gonna come off the bench and microwave some motherfuckers
You cut
for
Kobe on
show.
Kobe Day.
I'm cutting Kobe. I'm
On
cutting
that
Kobe.
note, JD, it's been good talking to you, bro. Happy Kobe Day to everybody. I hope you enjoyed our rants and our rhythms and flows on this thing. And, next up, right around the corner, we still got a while for hoop season. I think we'll dip into some NFL, some fantasy football, and everything else going on in the wide world of sports. JD, it's been great talking to you. Send us out.
Well, Chris, it's always a treat, and it's a treat when players meet. So, RIP to the GOAT. Rest in love, Kobe. We miss you.
Fuck being on some chill shit.